Welcome to the very first episode of DartBrain, the podcast where your dartboard may be silent, but your brain is screaming like it's been left on red by confidence itself. Hey darts lovers, tungsten technicians, and double mechanics, welcome. You're in the right place. This is DartBrain, where we go deep into the wild jungle of darts psychology, where we don't just ask, what did you throw, but also, what were you thinking when you threw it like that? I'm Clint Clarkson, part-time darts philosopher, full-time overthinker, and today's episode is going to set the stage for everything this show is about, taming the chaos in your head so you can play the kind of darts you know you're capable of playing. Because here's the thing, if darts was just about mechanics, we'd all be champions by now. But we're not, because darts is 90% mental and the other 10% is pretending we're not falling apart inside. So let's dive in. Let me paint you a picture. And no, it's not a happy little Bob Ross painting. You're at home, you're cruising, smooth release, confidence through the roof, the doubles are going in like magnets, your dartboard is your best friend. Then you show up for tournament night. Suddenly, your arm weighs 50 pounds, you forget how to breathe, and your brain, it's doing a Broadway production of You're Not Good Enough. Sound familiar? Let me tell you what it's not. It's not your darts, it's not your elbow angle, and it's not the grip wax you forgot to bring. It's the mental game. The truth is, most dart players train their technique, but not their brain. They put in the hours at the board, but not on the mental treadmill. And they wonder why they collapse under pressure like a wet IKEA bookshelf. This podcast, it's the anti-collapse. It's where we stop pretending phrases like just focus or trust the process are enough. Because those are not strategies. Those are bumper stickers. You don't need a motivational poster. You need a mental training plan. That's what we're here to do. To build focus that doesn't break when someone behind you opens a bag of chips, to build confidence that isn't dependent on the last leg, and to build resilience when you blow a 3-0 lead and still need to win the decider. We're going full dojo on the DartBrain. Are you in? So what is this podcast actually going to do? We're going to explore sports psychology topics like focus, resilience, self-talk, handling nerves, and much more. Not like an audiobook, but like a darts lab with just the right amount of chaos. We'll answer questions like, how do I focus when a tournament venue sounds like a high school cafeteria on taco day? How do I stop thinking I'm a fraud every time I miss a big checkout? How do I mentally stay sharp when the match before mine goes 11 legs and I've been sitting for an hour trying not to fall asleep or overthink? We're going to answer all of those questions using a variety of podcast formats. This podcast is like a well-stocked pub. A little bit of everything. First are the monologue episodes. The first 3 episodes of DartBrain are monologues. Just me, a microphone, and enough caffeine to light up the whole dartboard. Picture it like this. A solo rant meets sports therapy with a splash of existential dread and the occasional, did I leave the oven on? moment. In episode 2, I'll tackle the big question. What can sports psychology do for you and why do you need it? Spoiler, it's because yelling at your darts isn't working. Then in episode 3, we'll crack open the DartBrain, which isn't just a catchy title. It's a legit model, like a framework. It's designed to help you spot your mental strengths, identify those oops, I panicked moments, and build a mental training routine that won't make your brain throw in the towel before your first 180. The second type of episodes are panel episodes. Panel episodes will be a lot of fun with multiple players discussing one topic, real stories, real struggles, and the possible mild roasting. Our 4th episode will be a panel. We'll sit down with 3 elite players and talk with them about practice routines and how to take your skills from the practice environment to the performance environment. Next, we have 1-question episodes, an episode format that I'm really excited about. I'll ask a series of elite players a single question and then stitch them together into one wisdom smoothie. This way, you can hear how top players are alike and how they're different. And sometimes hearing something one way is helpful for one person, while hearing it a different way is helpful for someone else. And finally, long-form interviews. Most of the episodes will feature long-form conversations with elite players, some pros and some top amateurs. I'm talking players who've stood at the Oki with titles on the line and won. Players who've learned how to deal with nerves, shake off bad legs, and stay locked in for the entire match. And we'll go deep into routines, stories, meltdowns, mantras, rituals, all of it. Because this isn't just storytelling, it's strategy. Every episode is designed to leave you with something you can actually do in your game tonight, this week, and before your next match. We're talking about simple things like breathwork, mental resets, focus cues, and banana management. That'll make more sense after you listen to episode 2. This podcast is your cheat code to building a brain that throws as well as your arm does. So who is this podcast for? Well, if you've ever missed a double and then missed 3 more because you were spiraling faster than your dart, then this podcast is for you. If you've ever thrown a 140, celebrated, and then followed it with a 26 because you started imagining your victory speech, then this podcast is for you. And if you've ever played better in your basement with your kids running around the house and your spouse yelling at you than you do during your provincial or state qualifier, then hi, welcome to the club. This podcast is for you. This show is for the weekend warriors who want to stop choking in finals. This show is for the league players who are tired of being great in practice but meh in their matches. And this show is for the people who love darts but also kind of hate the way their brain behaves while they're playing. You don't need a sponsor. You don't need to be on the PDC stage. You just need a will to improve, a working arm, and the bravery to admit you sometimes panic because Shane is watching and he never blinks. Okay, let's do the awkward resume flex so you know I'm not just some guy with a mic and a superiority complex. I've played in the WDF World Masters, the WDF World Cup, I've been ranked number 1 in Canada, I've won national events, and I've bombed out in the first round while wearing my lucky socks. I've had my mental game tested by loud venues, long waits, annoying opponents, and most of all, myself. I've been the guy shaking at the line, the guy wondering why he suddenly feels like a toddler holding a javelin. And I've spent years learning, reading, trying things, failing, and trying again. That's what this podcast is. Everything I've learned, everything I'm learning, and everything the game is still teaching me. Shared with you. And because I'm still learning, just like you, I'll bring the best dart players that heed the call on this podcast so we can learn from them together. So you can skip a few meltdowns, or at least handle them with more grace. Let's play a game called Have You Ever? Have you ever played like a monster at home, but in matches your darts act like a sparrow trying to fly through a window? Have you ever missed a 1 double and had your brain go, well, we might as well lose now, the prophecy has been fulfilled? Have you ever tried to calm yourself down mid-match by internally screaming, calm down? Have you ever overthought your stance, your grip, your breathing, and whether your pinky should be out like you're sipping tea? Have you ever started mentally planning your apology to your teammates halfway through the second leg? Welcome. We've all been there. The goal of this podcast is to help you handle those moments like a pro, or at least like a slightly better dressed amateur. You've made it this far. That means we're friends now, and friends help friends, right? Here's how you can keep this party going. First, subscribe to DartBrain on whatever platform you're on, Spotify, Apple, Google, all the usual suspects. Subscriptions are gold to building this podcast. Second, drop us a review. If it's positive, amazing. You're a legend. If it's negative, that's okay too. Just write it in your dream journal and never speak of it again. Next, please follow and like us on Facebook. We'll be posting quotes, clips, and possibly chimp-related memes. Watch for the chimp in episode 2. And finally, be part of the conversation. This isn't just me yelling into a microphone while spiraling about my last missed double. It's us, your questions, your mental meltdowns, your weird dart superstitions. Let's unpack it all together. Here's the truth. There are no shortcuts in darts, but there are better ways to train. And training your dart brain, that's the most important edge you can build. Because the best players, they don't just throw better. They think better. They focus better. They bounce back better. They train the chaos, and so will you. So until next time, stay focused, throw with purpose, and train your dart brain. I'm Clint Clarkson, and this is the DartBrain Podcast. Catch you on the next one.